Hello? Well, um, anyway, it is what it is. Um, Today, the other day, something, I decided to make a gift of a plant. And I decided that the gift would be uh, a bamboo plant, a lucky bamboo. Well, you can't really make a gift of a plant that requires all this water. Um, Lucky bamboo doesn't seem to do too well in unfiltered water. Um, it's kind of the problem we've got here. Get back to him. Unfiltered water, and I point at a potted plant. Yeah, we'll get back to it. Um, so, if you can't really make a gift of a filtered aquarium because that's just much too big of a pot, and nobody wants a plant that they have to plug into the wall. In this case, a couple of times. Because you need to plug it in for the filtration, you need to plug it in for the heat. Yeah, nobody wants to take care of bamboo the way I do. I'm willing to put up with it because I actually have plans of putting fish back in this tank at some point. But anyway, on to the gift. Here's the gift. Not the tree behind or the purple passion in front. That's what it's called. But this lucky bamboo on the stake of some kind of bamboo goes up, and there's the front of it, kind of leaning out toward me. I'm hoping it will do the same as the one back there. It was leaning and it shot straight up. So we're hoping this will eventually shoot straight up. So this is going to be the gift, this strand of lucky bamboo down in a pot. And that reminded me that initially this bamboo went into a much bigger pot as a project. The idea was to show, yes, you can grow lucky bamboo in water. Not everybody believes that. But that it does grow happily in a pot. So this one, some time ago, was put into a bigger pot. Well, now it's going to be a gift. So I put it in a much smaller pot. Not really looking forward to getting rid of my pot, but it's just a plastic black pot. So I'm going to just deal with if I want to gift a plant that I should have it in a pot. But it reminded me that this was supposed to be, I believe I did a video on, how I was going to grow it in dirt. Well, now at some point after the transplant into this other pot, I'm going to be giving it away. So this one's not going to live here forever. Therefore, it's not a very good candidate for growing in a pot. So, back to this one. I said I was going to come back to it. Didn't you believe me? I don't know if that's going to survive. The crown of it looks like it might be gone. It's in a bad way. Back to the point. It was growing in that little aquarium. But that little white aquarium with the tears, well, that's what all these started in. I'm going to cough, actually. Hang on. Excuse me. Um, that's what all these started in when they were, well, actually much smaller than even this. Everybody started in that little tier pot. Well, that little tier pot was a pain. The filter wanted to stop, and you get it going, and it wanted to stop, and you get it going, and it wanted to stop. So I gave up on it. And actually, when I made the move, I was just going to I don't want to cough again. I really don't want to cough again. When I made the move, I was just going to let this one die in that little aquarium and then, dump out the aquarium and probably send the aquarium to the dump because it's just one of them little 3-tiered thing, pain in the butt, especially without wanting to work properly. So I didn't care that this was going downhill, and I didn't care that this was going downhill, although it isn't really going downhill. It was doing just fine. The tips have browned. I would like to come up with a way to not have them brown, but yeah, that's. I think as they get old, the tips just kind of brown naturally, but these up here are a little early. I keep getting all that stuff on the speakers in the shot. I don't like that. Not that there's anything there. There's all the stuff on the speakers. Not a big deal. I just don't want it in the shot. So it's not that I'm giving away a plant that's sickly. No, it was doing just fine. But it was in dirt. Moist dirt. Didn't want to try it out because it was too cold. It was doing just fine. This, while in technically the same water as everybody else, the filter wasn't running. So the water wasn't getting yeah, that word. I'm not going to be able to say it, but you get the idea. It just was basically starting to go stagnant. So the plant wasn't doing so great. But because I'm getting rid of the other one, I thought, well, I'll stick it in dirt. It's a nice tiny little plant, and if it will recover in dirt, it's a perfect candidate for growing lucky bamboo in dirt. Nice and small because I don't need any more. Does it look like I need any more bamboo? No. But if you want to grow in a pot, then you need a little bit more. So, yeah, we will see if that will recover. If it dies, well, then it will die. And when there's little to no green left, I'll start with somebody else. And yeah, we'll get a root system. Same way I did with the one I'm giving away, only we'll keep one of them. So that is that. I want to call it a new project, but I really think it's more of the forgotten project. So we'll do the follow along in dirt. You can follow along in water. If you're subscribed and stuck around, you already have been. But we will also grow some lucky bamboo in dirt, like I've been doing, but not really filming. It works. This was working. Like I say, it was growing just fine. It's got a nice little root ball. I know I didn't film. That would have been good to film, but I didn't. And I'm not gonna disturb it again just to show a root ball. I'm watching this leaf float around in the tank. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to pluck it out. There's actually others, kind of see them down there on the filter. The idea is this tank gets a new gallon of water every 2 or 3 days. And in that gallon of water, there's a decent amount of ammonia. Basically for my ammonia nitrate. Yeah, that's how it'd be sold to you in the store. Ammonia nitrate. Nitrate that's been converted over from ammonia. Or ammonium nitrate, which, same basic thing. As a fertilizer, they'll tell you which one it is. As an aquarium hobbyist, you can test for ammonia. You can find out how much total ammonia is in your aquarium. But you can't tell that. I'm sure there's tests out there that can. But on the basic hobbyist test, you can't tell if it's ammonia or ammonium. You just basically get a total of both. Because in an aquarium, it really just kind of fluctuates back and forth, depending on pH and things. Just flips back and forth. So there's no real point in knowing which one it is. Fish initially will produce ammonia. Sharks and skates, things like that, will be ammonium. Okay, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent about fish. So you really don't. You get a total, kind of like sticking your TDS meter in there. You get a total of everything that's in the water, right? Same thing. Only you're just testing for the 2 forms of ammonia. So I put every couple of 3 days, quite a bit of ammonia goes into the aquarium. Well, that's the whole idea of the aquarium, is I've got the microbes, bacteria, whatever you want to call them, to convert it from ammonia to nitrate. Nitrite. We forgot a step. Well, I don't want to get the names of the bacteria backwards, so I won't say it. But first we go to nitrate. I did it again. Nitrite. Nitrite. With an I. And then it goes from that, another form, I believe it's Nitrobacter. Nitrosomonas does the first, Nitrobacter does the second. It just came in from recess. There it is. Nitrobacter, Nitrosomonas, and Nitrobacter. Now, see, I got it backwards anyway. Anyway, the 2 of them work on the ammonia in their different stages, and you get nitrate. Well, I'm not doing water changes because I'm not going to waste that kind of water. There's plenty enough water through evaporation and being consumed by the plants that I have to put in plenty enough to do like a water change. It's supposed to be like 15-20% a week, except every couple of days another tenth is going in. So I think that's plenty. But whatever nitrate the plants don't take up is not leaving the aquarium, because those 2 only get it to nitrate. The idea is a fish keeper will then do a water change, meaning they don't care much about the last stage. And I've been asked, well, Who does a water change in a pond or a lake? Or even the ocean, who does that water change? At the time of the question, I didn't know. Later I found out that is what happens is you go from aerobic bacteria to anaerobic bacteria. So once those first two, Nitrobacter and Nitrosomonas, they like the oxygen. The same oxygen fish like. So they can live in a filter on the glass, in the gravel. They're perfectly happy in this high oxygen, oh, I hate that word. The high levels of oxygen in an aquarium. Say it that way. Those two are perfectly happy. But is what you need to get rid of nitrate, aside from plants will do it, a water change will do it, but there is a bacteria colony that will do it. And because fish keepers, for the most part, don't care about it, I don't have a name. I haven't yet found it. I found the name a couple of times, but I haven't heard the name to know how to pronounce it. But it's an anaerobic bacteria, which means it lives in low oxygen conditions. Well, the whole point of a fish tank is for it to have oxygen, high levels of oxygen. That's how we said we were going to deal with that word, didn't we? So, how do you have these low levels of oxygen in an aquarium to deal with nitrate or excess nitrate that your plants don't take up? Well, I think the most effective way would be to do it naturally. There's other ways, but I'm going to do it a natural way, which means miracle mud, basically. In the aquarium hobby, we have miracle mud. It's basically dense sand that this other microbe can grow in, and because it's dense sand, the oxygen doesn't get down into that layer of water because it's all sand, and it's the same way it does it in a pond or a lake. The muck and the mud at the bottom of the lake, those anaerobic bacteria go down so far, however far they have to go down to get away from the oxygen, and they live down there. And the water that filters through the mud, they get their nitrate fix and they deal with the nitrates and send it off as a gas. And if too much of that gas comes out of the mud at once, you've got dead fish. Another reason the aquarium hobby doesn't care much about this bacteria. Their byproduct can kill the fish if it doesn't come out in very small amounts. So, that's kind of what I'm going to do. I did say I want fish in this aquarium. I think I've settled on neon tetras. I think that's what I want to put in this aquarium. Because the very first person that introduced me to plants 1,000,000 years ago, okay, not 1,000,000, it feels like 1,000,000 years ago though, she had neon tetras. So that's what I think I'm going to put in the tank. They're a small enough fish that when the miracle mud builds up, well, it won't be miracle mud, it'll just be, broken down plant waste. is how I'm going to make my miracle mud. But the fish won't be big enough to disturb the mud too much. So I'll be able to naturally come out, hopefully not too fast, but fast enough. And then, dissolve in the atmosphere. It shouldn't hurt me any, but in high amounts that would hurt the fish. And yeah, that's the way I'm going to make my miracle mud, is just when a leaf dies, it goes in the tank. As the fish, whenever I get the fish, as they produce waste, it'll sink to the bottom. And at first, it might be a little unsightly, but soon enough, it'll just basically be dirt. I'll have a dirted aquarium, and it won't be so bad. It'll just be dirt in the bottom of the tank. I'm not going to let it, because I can't. It won't come up to the level of the filter. It'll be just below it. If it starts to get too close, then, I'll take the python or something and suck some of it out. Maybe a trowel and just shovel some of it out. But there's a little bit of a problem there. That would be disturbing it. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that for a while. So I won't worry about it until it's time to worry about it. It's nothing to set up another little 10-gallon aquarium so I can disturb the mud. But anyway, yeah. Little bit of the projects. You'll see the leaves and things floating for a bit, because, yeah, it's going to create... I think I just figured out how I'm going to deal with not making too much. At some point, no more leaves will go in. Still have the fish waste, but yeah. So there's that. It'll be a dirted aquarium. The dirted, I guess, Lucky Bamboo. And hopefully some fish at some point. The only other thing, that I guess I'll mention it, I said I was going to let this cactus, we'll just call it a cactus, there. I was going to let it dry out. And I said it would probably rot, but, yeah. Well, part of it did rot, and part of it seems to be doing okay. So I'll continue to let it dry. Might be dry enough now, I don't know. But continue to take care of that. The rest of it just came up here, and I don't know if this is necessary, but I put it in the filter to rehydrate and start new roots. And there's a bunch of salt creep back there, but yeah, I don't normally film that much of the filter, so you don't see the vast majority of the salt creep. Trouble is, I don't necessarily see it either, and it builds up. But those are the plans going forward. And yes, that yellow one has died back for whatever reason. Probably the same reason that this one's got ugly leaves. It's my guess. It got too cold. Why just for that one stalk, I don't know. But yeah, there's a little bit of a section down there that died back. Kind of hoping it doesn't affect this whole clump. But if it does, I got plenty of bamboo back there. And if it does, I guess I can wait for this to mature enough to start over again. Oh, wait. Lucky bamboo's easy enough to find. So, yeah, this lucky bamboo's, I don't know, about 8 years old. But should I lose the entire thing, which I doubt's going to happen, lucky bamboo is not hard to replace. So I'm not too worried. Okay, I will talk to you next time.